Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why Mike Tomlin just found a scapegoat for the Steelers' dysfunction.
And I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why Drew Brees should seriously consider moving on from the Saints.
You're crazy.
No, I'm not crazy. I love being right. My middle name it's supposed to be R for right.
All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by a couple of Super Bowl champs, Mark Schlereth and Seth Joyner. Let's start in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers season came to an abrupt end in Sunday's loss to the Jaguars after a roller coaster year featuring sideline meltdowns, drama over the national anthem protest, and Big Ben calling out the coaching staff damn near every week. Well, today, Mike Tomlin announced a major change, saying, quote, "I have made the decision to not renew the contract for offensive coordinator Todd Haley. I would like to thank Todd for his contribution to our offense the past 6 years, and we wish him the best in his coaching future." Cowherd, is this the right move?
Absolutely. You know, the last 5 or 6 years have been the disappointing years for that team. I'm not the biggest Tomlin fan, but we didn't hear a lot of Mike Tomlin criticism until about 5 years ago, a year into Todd Haley. By the way, he's been in 2 separate bar fights. You get kicked out of college for that. He's been in 2 separate recorded bar fights. You're a coach for, next to the Cowboys, the most respected high-profile franchise in the league. You can't control yourself after a Michelob Light? I mean, then you can't run the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Did they fix the symptom or did they fix the problem?
Here's all I know is this. There's very few star quarterbacks on the planet. Take care of them. Make them happy. Get them receivers. Get them left tackles. Get them a defense. You're not getting many Bens and Aaron Rodgers and Brees.
Listen,
Take care
I agree.
Of them.
Listen, I had my war with Todd Haley when he was in Kansas City.
Well, you did.
He's a bull. He's a bully, a bit of a meathead, but he was working for a bully and a meathead in Pioli. Listen, I think firing him was the right move, but does it really fix the problem is my question. Big Ben has made it crystal clear to me that his problems extend well beyond Todd Haley. And not only that, I think if we believe the narrative that's formulating, Big Ben actually, which is the coach, the head coach, was more like Todd Haley, gruff, holding people accountable, ruling with an iron fist, setting a disciplined tone with the team. And so that they've actually fired the guy who actually did some of what Big Ben seems to want from Mike Tomlin.
I would say this. They addressed a symptom, not the problem, and the problem runs deep, and the problem is a lack of discipline, and it starts at the head coach. You allow these things to happen. You allow these outbursts on the sidelines. You allow these guys within your organization to basically rule the roost, and you don't do anything about it. And so that's where it starts. Now, if you want to appease your quarterback and say, hey, I'll take this controversial, guy that's a confrontational guy out of the offense and say, Big Ben, you essentially run the offense. We're going to be good now. Go ahead, and we'll give you the guy you want, and everything's going to be hunky-dory, and you don't have to worry about that. But, again, that's fine. I mean, that'll shut Big Ben up maybe, and, he's going to play for another 3 years. He said, I'm not going to retire now. But the bottom line is I still look at this team, as talented this team is, I still think there's a discipline issue. I still think you let guys get away with things that they probably shouldn't get away with, and that goes to me to the top. That goes to the head coach. If you're going to allow it to happen, guess what it's going to do? It's going to happen. Players will constantly, like if you give us the line, it's like Dave Chappelle. We're habitual line steppers. Where's the line? Can I step over it?
Like kids.
Right. We are. That's how we operate.
It's not a player issue. It's a humanistic issue. People will push the line as far as they think they can push it, as far as they can get away with it. Listen, you can say that, the problem is still there, but you remove a guy in Todd Haley that just never really jived with the most important player on your football team. I've seen Todd Haley. Todd Haley is a my way or the highway type of coach. I've seen him have blow-ups on the sideline with Anquan Bolden when he was in Arizona. I've seen him have blow-ups on the sideline in Kansas City. And I've seen him have blow-ups, with Ben Roethlisberger. For a quarterback of Ben Roethlisberger's stature to come out and say, well, I don't have the flexibility to call a quarterback sneak. I don't have the flexibility to make changes at the line of scrimmage. Of course he wants that guy gone because he sees every other great quarterback around the league with the freedom to make these changes at the line of scrimmage, to have discretion at the line of scrimmage where he doesn't have it. Now, that's Todd Haley. Now, as far as the dysfunction on the football team, that is a whole different thing. And the dysfunction becomes magnified when you don't win. When you win 12, 13 games and you lose to a team that you're probably not supposed to lose to twice at home, then it becomes a magnifier. But if they win, we're not having this conversation. That's just the truth of the matter.
Listen, you don't have to get rid of every problem. To Mark's point,
that's true.
You know, it's like, listen, if you dated a woman and she was a smoker and you didn't like it and had a temper, if she just stopped smoking, it'd be slightly better.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, put up with the temper, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even the Belichick-Brady thing's a little unraveled now. So, listen, I mean, to your point, I watched the game against the Colts this year. Haley and Big Ben, I mean, the body language was really bad. Like, Haley's screaming and Big Ben, like, rolls his eyes. Like, that's not, like, Josh McDaniels and Brady can snap. It's quick, it's over, it's done.
It depends on the player. You know, like I've always been coached hard. I kind of liked it when somebody got in your face, you know, and I'll get right back in and you know, we went. And it was fine, and I was okay with that. But I had people that I played with for the same exact coach that hated it, that couldn't handle it, that didn't like it. And you better know the guys that you're coaching. Some guys respond well to that, some guys don't.
And Bruce Arians told us a week ago on my show, Big Ben doesn't like to be yelled at.
Well,
he doesn't.
That's the next place that I was going to go. You got to realize that Big Ben came into the league under Bruce Arians, and Bruce probably coached him hard, but he knew how far to push him. There's no limit with Todd with Todd Haley. Right. Todd he pushes because he has to have it his way. You know, and a guy like Ben is like, you know what? It's like a kid. You know, you can push them so far, and then after a while they're like, la 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 la, I hear you, but I don't hear you. Yeah. I got a 16-year-old.
To New Orleans, where the Saints are still recovering from that crushing loss to the Vikings, but just got a big win. Drew Brees making it clear he's not going anywhere in free agency.
I'm not in the mood to make anything secretive. It's the same way I felt 2 days ago, same way I felt 12 years ago. That is that I'll be here as long as they'll have me, hopefully.
Can you give us any insight on the process of the work with Drew going forward?
Not right now. So no. Politely, no.
Is there no question in your mind, though, that you want him back as your quarterback?
Like I just finished saying, I'll say it to you, no. You know, we'll get to you when it's time, and I'm sure that we'll go through the process, but today's not the time.
All right, Whitlock, would it be a mistake for Brees to stay with the Saints?
No, the mistake would be what you're about to say, and so I'm going to let you say it. You think this guy should actually leave New Orleans?
Yeah. I think he's been Mr. New Orleans. He served him well. I think they have, over the last 10 years, an inconsistent defense, 5 coordinators, 11 years. Before this year, they were losers. For 3 years, they have inconsistent success. I think they let him down against Minnesota late with poor coaching, call a timeout, don't tell a rookie, grab, don't go for the hit. And frankly, over the last 12 months, Sean Payton's sideline behavior is troubling. For a high school coach to make those moves, a principal would pull you in on a Monday and say, scale back on the choke stuff. Sean's behavior is odd over the last year. I think they've underachieved for Drew Brees. I by and large feel like Brady has better personnel. Big Ben has better personnel. Aaron Rodgers, probably like Drew, has been underserved with his personnel. I think he absolutely needs to test the waters. Are you telling me Drew Brees for 2 years in Minnesota with that front office and that defense? Are we in this sport?
It's amazing. You've actually made sense here. I had such low expectations, and you've blown me away. You've made some, but I completely disagree with you because Sean Payton is Drew Brees' guy. They are peanut butter and jelly come hell or high water. Drew Brees is buttoned up. Sean Payton's a little loose. But it works. They like each other. They respect each other. They're of like mind offensively. And I get what you're saying, but this year they were this close. They should have beaten the Vikings and be playing in the NFC Championship. You can't walk away from that if you're Drew Brees.
Oh, I think we see it constantly. How could you walk away from Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Pat Riley, and Mickey Arison?
Because
you walk.
you're silly.
No,
And
because
you don't want to win as many championships.
No, you want to reboot your career because Wade and Bosch are getting old. And by the way, Wade is old and Bosch.
One title.
But basketball is completely different because you got 5 guys on the court. And, I mean, the NFL, you have a whole offense that you're orchestrating. You got 11 guys that have to work together. You have a language that you know. You don't want to go change the language. You don't want to leave New Orleans. And, oh, by the way, you put through it. You know, they were in salary cap purgatory for a long time. You got through that. Right now, you got a young offense. You fix the offensive line. You've got a great young right tackle, an unbelievable athletic left tackle. You've got a great young wide receiver. You got 2 running backs that are legit. You got a couple of tight ends that can play. And your defense is much better now. To me, you look at the NFC. If you look at the AFC, there is one route to the Super Bowl. And that's, you got to have a legit quarterback. I mean, it's either Brady over the last 20 years, it's Manning, or it's Roethlisberger. And there's a couple of outliers in there, right? There's the Flacco outlier in there. Right. The NFC right now, think about it. Wentz is a second-year guy coming off an ACL. Goff is a second-year guy, young guy. Seattle is right now, because of all the injuries and because of all the money they spent, they're a different football team right now. So, From just a pure quarterbacking standpoint, the route right now to me is Minnesota makes sense, but stay the course. You got a chance to right the ship and win another championship.
I just want to know why would he ever leave that situation? You know, you talked about him getting through the salary cap issue. You know, since they won the Super Bowl, this team has just been abysmal. They've been through so much, and for not only them to get to a point where they can now begin to compete for the conference, but for him to have Sean Payton change his offensive mentality. There's this thought in the NFL that you pass early and you run late to balance it up, okay? And Sean Payton lived by that motto for a long, long time. And Drew Brees put up a lot of big numbers. But this year, what did you see? You seen an emphasis on the running game with these 2 running backs. The game was so much easier for Drew Brees from a play-action pass standpoint. Why would he want to leave there? There's no motivation for him to leave because of because of money.
Etouffee in the French
I
Quarter.
listen.
You just gonna leave?
Listen,
that?
he made Colin. He's already made $200 million. It's not about the money, okay? It's all about an opportunity to win championships.
All I'm saying is
a legacy.
Oh, legacy. You got a legacy. What is Michael Jordan ended with the Wizards? Nobody cares. I mean, it's about Super Bowls.
Some guys care.
Well, if it's about Super Bowls, then he doesn't leave there because
Minnesota, Jacksonville.
Listen, that defense is on the precipice right now of being one of the top defenses in the league. What they have on offense is they continue to improve that offensive side of the ball. They're going to be unstoppable. You kidding me? Why would he leave?
Are you not worried about Sean Payton's actions?
I think your points about Sean Payton.
He has gone off the rails.
Sean Payton has done nothing but express to us this year who he really is. He's had this clean image.
He hadn't.
But I mean, listen.
He's gone off the rails.
He has this clean image up until this year of the guy that if you can't get along with Sean, you can't get along with anybody. But now you see.
Everybody always tells me, don't go to the Colts, Jim Irsay. Well, he's an owner. Some of the things Sean Payton's doing are Irsay-like. They're not mature enough for an NFL head coach.
Man, this dude draws up plays as good as anybody, and that's what a quarterback is into.
Nobody adjusts in game. Like Sean Payton. Nobody.
If I have that Jacksonville defense, not much adjusting I need to do.
Well, but think about the division that you play in, too. Think about the NFC South. I mean, Tampa Bay, are they on their way? There's a question mark. The Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton, are they on their way?
Atlanta is.
Atlanta's got a talented football team.
So does Carolina.
Welcome back, Mark Schlereth, Seth Joyner still here. Let's move to New England, where the Patriots host the Jags in Sunday's AFC Championship game. Jacksonville's Jalen Ramsey, heck of a player, already guaranteed a Super Bowl win. Tom Brady's going the opposite way, singing the praises of his opponent, saying they're, quote, the biggest challenge we faced all season. The Jags aren't buying it, with linebacker Telvin Smith tweeting, quote, bruh, this is the oldest trick. Pump us up in the media, but in the building, I know what's really being said. Respect. Whitlock, should the Jags just shut up about Tom Brady already?
Yeah, I don't get it. Why are they engaging and their children too, engage with a grown 40-year-old man in a mind game with Tom Brady. It's a mismatch. And they need to shut up and worry about the Jaguars and what they're going to do and quit worrying about whether Tom Brady's giving them respect or whether it's false praise or any of that. I just wouldn't engage with Tom Brady in any way. I would respect my elders. The guy's 40. He's a generation ahead of these guys. I don't get it, but again, everybody wants to be Joe Namath, as I said yesterday, and they forget he won 1 Super Bowl. Tom Brady's won 5. Be that guy.
Well, what happens when you don't have a go-to leader in the locker room? It's a leader by committee. And Jacksonville's young, and so 23-year-old Jalen Ramsey is their best player, maybe, so he becomes the leader. And then the linebacker talks, and then the defensive end talks. If you have a leader, and this is what happens with
Calais Campbell.
Well, yeah, but if you go look at the NFL, the locker rooms where there's a lot of chatter don't have a Drew Brees, don't have a Matt Ryan, don't have a Tom Brady, don't have an Aaron Rodgers.
Are you saying Bortles isn't on that level?
No. And so what happens is the leader becomes most talented guy. Well, the most talented guy's a 23-year-old. And so the players, they're feeding off Jalen Ramsey.
You know, I'm not a big proponent of this. I don't like this because, you know, sooner or later, the roosters come home to roost. It's just a matter of time before things come crashing down. And the problem is that defense, the number 2 ranked defense in the NFL, Jalen Ramsey is writing checks that the offense has to cash. Because you know the defense is going to do their job. They're going to do what they have to do. But what is Bill Belichick going to do? Bill Belichick is going to take Fournette away.
Yes.
And he's going to put all the pressure in the world on this young quarterback to win the game in Blake Bortles. And, they're basically, I'm telling you right now, Jalen Ramsey is writing a check that the offense has to cash. And they're just not going to be able to cash that check at the end of the day when it's all said and done. And listen, I know that they're 10-6. This is what they've been doing all year long. But when you're a great player, you don't need to broadcast to the whole world that you're a great player. You're a great defense. You don't need to. The work that you're doing on the field speaks for itself. The worst to first in your division speaks for itself. So why would you ever throw gasoline on a fire? Why would you ever try to motivate arguably the greatest quarterback in the game and the greatest quarterback in the game to game plan and completely destroy you and make you look like a fool? Why would you do that?
And he'll come out there, he's using the Jedi mind track. You know, these are not the drones you're looking for, right? And then he's just going to go ahead and absolutely, what I would assume is he's going to go out there and wax them. And, you know, they take that stuff in New England. You know, they say, oh, it's no big deal, and it's not this, it's not that. The thing that, with mature teams and really good teams, the thing that bulletin board material does for you just hones you in during the week. I never once during bulletin board material sat in the third quarter and said, hey, Seth said this about us, right? No, you don't. You prepare during the week. It focuses you in on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you go out and you play really well on Sunday. That's why they practice, and that's what these guys do better than anybody else. They take that information and they say, okay, you know, we'll digest that. We're fine. We don't need to talk about it in the media, but we're going to be honed in. And that's what they do better than any other football team in the National Football League. I'm 100% with you, man. I would not try to rile up Tom Brady and the New England Patriots whatsoever.
Here's the other thing. The Patriots for the last, 5-6 years have been living off of a lack of respect.
Yeah.
Goodell doesn't respect us. Everybody thinks we're cheaters. Respect. Why give them any disrespect? Right. Why feed into that? That's what they've been feeding off of for, it seems like, a decade.
Well, this game is fairly predictable. To Seth's point, Leonard Fournette's 3 biggest college games against Alabama, he didn't do anything. He averaged 45 yards. Who's Belichick's best friend in coaching? Saban. So they're going to take away Fournette. There's a number in this game that's really glaring. New England leads at home in Brady's career like 65% of the games. Bortles is a terrible trailing quarterback. He's 2 different quarterbacks, leading with a running game, trailing without one. So to Seth's point, this is not going to be about the defense because we know New England's going to score some points. This game's going to be about Bortles trailing at some point.
And we got to go, though.
And the piece is, right quick, the piece is once New England gets the lead, now they've just flipped the Jaguars on their neck. okay? Because now if Blake Bortles has to be that guy and the defense understands and knows that, they're going to put so much pressure on him, he's going to throw up all over his sheet.
It's what they did to Tennessee. They walked up linebackers. They mugged them up there. They kept their edge presence with their outside rushers. They bull rushed the inside guys. They locked everybody up, got them one-on-one, and said, the one thing you're going to have to do, Marcus Mariota, is beat us throwing the ball because we're not going to let you scramble and get out of here. 8 sacks later, it's 35-14. Tip your cap. See you around
I don't know
sometime.
if you know this, but you just put Saban on Belichick's level, and I appreciate it.
Welcome back, Mark Schlereth, Seth Joyner. It's like they never left. They're back. Let's move to Philadelphia, where the Eagles will once again be home dogs. This time getting points from the Vikings in Sunday's NFC Championship. But after some Eagles wore creepy German Shepherd masks after last night's week over favorite Atlanta is a David Lynch film. The team's gone completely to the dogs, encouraging fans to wear their own underdog mask to the game Sunday. Whitlock, you think the underdog approach gives the Eagles an edge?
A little bit, but I think it's fun. I think it's better than what Jacksonville's doing in terms of talking all that smack. The Eagles are embracing the fact, hey, no one thinks we can do it. We lost Carson Wentz. Oh, without Carson Wentz, we're nothing. And so I think it's fun. And again, at the end of the day, football is a game, and it should be fun. And if that keeps you in a good, positive, fun spirit while you're working really hard, I guess it has some impact. But the Vikings defense is going to show up, and the underdog thing ain't going to matter.
I don't think a player in that locker room in Philadelphia thinks they're an underdog. I think they have Fletcher Cox. I think they like their offensive line. This is not an underdog game. The Jags are an underdog. Philadelphia is not an underdog. Philadelphia is at home. By the way, this is the same team. They're the same teams. Backup quarterback. They've lost several important players. They're led by their defense. And people were mostly rooting against them last week. People wanted Matt Ryan and Drew Brees to play. We like star quarterbacks. This is the same team, with one team being at home and you can't sell me on Philadelphia as a dog.
Well, this is why I think it works. It works because no one gives them an opportunity. No one thinks that they can win. And it's unprecedented that a number one seed in a conference playing at home is a 3.5-point underdog at home, okay? So keep it coming. Because on Amazon, they sold out Saturday night, those dog masks. I can promise you at the link come Sunday night that every fan is going to have one of those masks on. The team is embracing it. The coach is embracing it. The city is embracing it. And, like Mark said, it only carries you so far. It carries you up to game time because the minute you get hit in the mouth, all of that underdog stuff kind of goes out the window.
It's fun, though, right? We're pretty simple creatures, right? Guys want to be fed, fire hot, that's kind of how you go through it. So if you can get rallied around that underdog statement and use that as motivation, you know what? If it helps you prepare during the course of the week, then that's a good thing for you as a football team. And I've been there. I've been at a point, hell, we played you in a Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
And we were all like, hey, man, nobody gives us a chance except the guys in this room and, 13-point underdogs and this, that, and the other. Let's go shock them. And there's a real motivating factor to that.
Here's where I also think it may, with Seth's point, that it's selling out and it's taking off in Philadelphia. And so in terms of crowd noise, you're going to hear a lot of barking for 3 hours.
Well, that's the advantage of having the home field advantage. Is that you're at home, you got your fans. Every time their offense is on the field, we're going to make it so loud that, your quarterback can't hear himself think. That's the advantage. And, hey, if this is the rally cry, then this is the rally cry. Like I said, Tony Dungy said last week, coaches don't put anything into this, and then right after the game, you heard Doug Peterson say something to the contrary. And I was like, Tony, you just flew in today. You haven't been around here for a week and been on social media listening to what these players have been saying. They posted it all over the NovaCare Center that we're the number one seed at home. No one's giving us a chance. Okay, we'll show you come Sunday.
By the way,
beat this week.
Both underdogs in the last 2 NFC championships, they're both home underdogs lost, like Philadelphia.
Minnesota's defense.
It's a nice story.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're joined now by Colin's co-host on The Herd, Christine Leahy, and the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to Cleveland, where there's a lot of news about the Cavs this week. The latest being Isaiah Thomas saying he can't get in shape because the Cavs, quote, don't practice. Cleveland has been struggling in recent weeks, prompting several players to anonymously vent their frustrations in the media, expressing doubt the team is going to figure it out. Cowherd, the Cleveland Cavaliers have some problems. Do you think LeBron can fix it?
He's the MacGyver of the NBA. He can fix everything except their deficiencies to Golden State, because Golden State's way better. I think LeBron is doing what LeBron does in January. He leaks stuff, he manipulates, he's trying to get Dan Gilbert to trade that #1 pick or top 10 pick. These leaks, I believe, are partially LeBron. He is a manipulator. I'm a LeBron guy. He's a manipulator. All of a sudden, there's multiple leaks to multiple outlets. Why, it's all Kevin Love? I mean, who has the most to lose? LeBron. The two people in this organization that have the most to lose are the owner, he's not leaking this stuff, and LeBron, he is leaking this stuff. So my takeaway is he's trying to engineer a trade. I don't know if it'll happen, but this is what LeBron does. January, 3 weeks out of the trading deadline, leak stuff, manipulate, get us Paul George, because LeBron's not dumb. They're not beating Golden State.
They're tanking for Paul George.
No, tanking is way too hard. They are competitively creating deficiencies so that Dan Gilbert's forced to trade that pick. Tanking's way too severe.
It's a crazy theory that I actually kind of buy into.
Thank you.
I think LeBron is that manipulative and that shallow is not the word I want to use, but I think he's that manipulative. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that they don't practice. They are seemingly saying the only thing to do here is to get Paul George or Lou Williams or some player that can fix the problem. We can't fix the problem in this locker room. I don't like that.
Jason, I can't believe that you're going along with this theory with Colin, that the Cavs just can't possibly be playing bad. It's got to be that they're doing it on purpose. Is this to be an ulterior motive tactic sort of thing from LeBron?
I think, listen, when you watch them, Colin's theory, I think, is you watch them play against Golden State and you saw that level of engagement and effort, and it's not there in the other games. Why is that? And again, this is in January and February when the games don't matter that much. LeBron doesn't care about seeding. LeBron cares about, can we get Paul George here? Can we get Lou Williams here? Can we get someone who can fix this easy rather than...
You know why I don't buy this, though, is because actually, no, LeBron cares about stats, and he cares about winning MVP this year, and tanking doesn't help him do that. He needs to keep his numbers up. He can't sacrifice his numbers for the sake of tanking or
tanking seems
trying
so
to
severe.
Lose. But it is, if that's what you're saying. Yeah. But the question was, can LeBron James fix the locker room issues? And I think he can when he leaves. Then the locker room will be much better.
Well, he could also fix it by committing so that the organization...
Yeah,
there's no way
he could, but he's not going to do that. And the thing is, LeBron is an alpha male, which is fine. I think all of us probably are alpha some things. But people don't necessarily like that all the time in the locker room. And when he's controlling every single aspect of the team and you might get traded the next day because LeBron asks you to, that doesn't really make for a good locker room environment.
Colin, I like your theory. I'm going to see that theory and raise you this.
Oh, boy.
What if LeBron is leaking this stuff, but he's doing it to get the public sentiment on his side because he knows he's leaving. And he's going to say, hey, guys, I tried, but listen, Dan Gilbert wouldn't do this. Isaiah Thomas wanted to practice. This roster is not built. Guys, LeBron is setting the stage for his departure. You can see it's all in the media this week. Well, the Cavs, they're not going to beat the Warriors. We don't know if they're getting out of the East. What if LeBron is getting the public on his side with this through the media? Is that possible? I believe you like that, Christine.
I buy it, yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, there's this sense that everybody hates LeBron. LeBron's got a lot of friends in this league, and there are a lot of the smart players. Dwayne Wade's one of the smartest guys in the generationally last 20 years. I mean, ads, smart, winning, recruiting. That's his best friend. The guys that he doesn't get along with, Derrick Rose, I question. He gets along with Shane Battier. He gets along with D-Wade. This idea that everybody's anti-LeBron.
Hold on, who said that? Where did you come up with that?
Well, I mean, there is LeBron is
Kyrie, Kevin Love, now Tristan Thompson's maybe going to leave
Again, Tristan Thompson's an irrelevant NBA player. Kevin Love was in Minnesota forever, couldn't get to the playoffs. The point is, how do we know LeBron doesn't have an alliance in that locker room? He's like, fellas, let's start leaking stuff. So our owner, none of those guys care about Dan Gilbert. They do care about each other to some degree.
But then it
That's
wouldn't be a locker room
theory.
issue, right? And it's not a locker room issue because they're all on the same page. I think it's a roster issue.
That's what
they're
I think.
old, right?
And they know it.
Bad contracts. Isaiah wants to practice. Dude, Dwayne Wade can't practice, okay? He needs a day off.
I'm going to go big picture here. And this is what, again, I like LeBron mostly. But again, every solution to every problem isn't always to leave and go someplace else. That's what my whole problem with society now. You have one little problem. Well, let's get divorced. And, let's blow this family up. No one sticks through and works through issues anymore.